It's good, yeah. It tastes like it tastes like people. And that ain't bad. Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. And vote for the Green Party. Oh, aye, green. Got plenty of green. Soylent Green. A classic from the 70s. A sci-fi dystopian future movie with the demigod of such movies, Charlton Heston, Moses himself, El Cid, his triumvirate, his trio of sci-fi classics, Planet of the Apes, 68, The Omega Man, 71, 72, round about that juncture in time, and then this, Soylent Green, genius, the guy that was the most stoic, stony-chinned, the most, irascible and world-weary and cynical of characters he portrayed on screen, got to do three of the greatest characters in sci-fi history. So anyway, before we begin, housekeeping. The Soylent Green t-shirt is here, which inspired this review. I wore this only recently in the pub, and suddenly people were going like, "Oh, that's that film, isn't it? Oh, didn't it star Brad Pitt?" And you're like, "No, it didn't. It was Charlton Heston." And they go, "No, it wasn't. I'm sure. No, it'll come to me." I go, "No, it's Charlton Heston." Directed by Richard Fleischer, son of the guy that did the Fleischer Superman cartoons. Yes, that guy. And you try and tell them, and he went, "I'm having none of it." And so I said, "I'll do a video on this. I will do a video to explain the whole thing." And now you get the video. So, anyway, that's why I'm wearing this. Housekeeping, greens, lots of green stuff. There's greenery around. Greenery, shrubbery, I want a shrubbery. And yeah, Lord of the Rings, well, there's green in the rings, is there not? And Mr. Kentucky Fudge there is wearing, well, he's actually green to begin with, and he's wearing as close as I could get to Charlton Heston's costume in the movie, because Charlton Heston playing a detective called Robert Thorne. Robert Thorne, I hear you say, only a couple of years later, you would have Ambassador Robert Thorne, played by Gregory Peck, encountering the Antichrist in Damien, his own, surrogate son, satanic surrogate son, swapped there. But he wears, in this movie, a beaten baseball cap and a kerchief around his neck. And if you look at the way he wears these things, he wears the cap on an angle, it's all scrunched up, wears it on a world-weary sort of angle, and his kerchief, you see him tie it on his neck several times, and there it is. Not the same colours as this, but remember a film he did for Sam Peckinpah, Major Dundee, several years before, a good few years before, with Richard Harris as well. A great but flawed epic western. I love the movie to bits. And he plays a Union cavalry officer, but he wears the cap on one side and the kerchief. I cannot believe that Richard Fleischer and Charlton Heston, when they made this movie, did not think that they were evoking that image of a badly flawed character who wants to do the right thing, but he's got his own bigotry involved in it all. So and then has a revelation or two. I think that's the reason. And I've seen no one else, no other critic, commentator, reviewer, writer ever mention that. You watch, they'll come out the woodwork now. Well, I wrote this in my thesis on Soylent Green many years ago. I got an award for it. Kilt-Man, you know nothing. To be honest with you, if I knew nothing, that'd be something. I know less than nothing. Anyway, folks, I'm now going to open up a can of Cruz Campo. Don't tell the missus. Get its hair private stash. Here we go. Cheers, y'all. Cheers, y'all. Well, it's a bit of a clash, isn't it, with the green? Oh dear, didn't think about that one, did I? So yeah, was it 1973 this came out, directed by Richard Fleischer. I have the soundtrack playing right now, the soundtrack by Fred Myrow, who did 3 Phantasm movies, yeah, for Don Coscarelli. The tall man Angus Scrimm did the score for those and did the score for this movie, and it is, you can hear, very sort of loungy. The film is set in 2022, so we're actually now living in a world beyond what this film posited, but everything, all the ideas in this movie and the premise do seem to be coming to fruition. It's based on a 1966 novel by Harry Harrison, the guy that created the stainless steel rat, and that novel was called Make Room, Make Room, exclamation marks as well, like. And it dealt with the future of mankind, a dystopian future where the oceans are drying up, plankton is dying, everything is dying, there's no woods, no forests, no nothing, there's no farming, everything is just overcrowded, and global warming has taken effect, climate change and all that shebang. So everyone's living in hugely overcrowded areas, and the novel, a sci-fi horror story because of what could happen, is actually quite a trudge. I've read it a long time ago and it's nothing compared to the movie. That sounds like sacrilege, I know, but the movie adds something which you guys all know what the twist is. You guys know what the movie added the book didn't have. And the book dealt with it's clever because it dealt with like societal angst, how you would deal with all the overcrowding and the heat and the lack of food and the corruption that was rife around society. And it was rather too turgid and it lacked spectacle. So when Richard Fleischer and the screenwriter, whose name I'm pretty certain I didn't write down, I did not write it down, well, they come up with a new idea. Okay, so we've got this future, right? You've got New York City, which has now got a population of 40 million, and they're living on the streets, they're sleeping everywhere, they're in every open building, millions of people lying there in camp beds and snuggled up together. Every tenement building, every apartment block has people lying on the stairs. There is just smog, an omnipresent smog around. Everyone's sweating and grimy, and you got climate change is taking place and all this, and overcrowding, overpopulation is just the nadir of the human race. So there's no food. Farming the climate's ruined farming, so the oceans are drying up, but they're eating these little wafer thin soy processed things. You have a red and a yellow one, I think, ordinarily, and then suddenly the new kid on the block is, and they're called Soylent, red Soylent, yellow Soylent, and you get green Soylent, or Soylent Green. And this is like, wow, everyone's loving it. It's tasty, it's nutritious, it's being advertised on the TV. Everyone's like, eat Soylent Green, you know, and it causes like massive riots in the street because everyone's clamoring to get Soylent Green. It tastes better, it's more nutritious for you, it's better all around. But of course, when supplies dry up, it's riots, and you get all the urban strife. But how would you feed a population which is just skyrocketed, you know, for whatever reasons? Just overpopulation. Human race is like that. We just breed and, you know, we talk about rabbits. Oh, rabbits, you just breed. You got one rabbit in the room, you turn your back, next thing you go in again, there's 20 of them there. You only put one rabbit in there. How did it happen? We're worse than that. Rabbits don't destroy the ecology and the environment. Oh, I'm not on a soapbox here, don't worry about that. Although the film is. But humans are far worse. We overpopulate and we destroy everything around us and each other as well. But we escalate in population more than we can destroy the population. Despite all talks of genocide at the moment. Well, yeah, okay. This film came out at a time when you had a lot in the early 70s of eco warriors. So riots and activism was huge and rife. This film fits into a bubble which encompasses Rollerball, Logan's Run, fish, plankton, protein from the sea. Yeah. A Boy and His Dog, Phase 4, so many. The Andromeda Strain, visually, the aesthetic of it. You see, what dates it is the music, really, and the firepower, the weaponry, and, you know, the fashions. But overall, the film, it came out in the early 70s. It hit home, it hammered home a point. It had something to tell you about society and the way we were going, and the way we've ended up, to be honest with you. We are in a really shit state when it comes to food and energy and supplies. We fuck up that system, and suddenly we're not just individual cities and maybe nations, but the entire globe will be in trouble, because it's just us. It's us, folks. Fuck it all up. Cheers, y'all. Anyway. Into this environment we have Charlton Heston, who plays a detective. Yes, a copper from the 14th precinct in New York. By the way, none of this is shot in New York. It's all shot on the back lot at MGM in Hollywood, in Los Angeles. But it looks really good. Think of Yul Brynner in The Ultimate Warrior, and you know, the smoggy, debris-strewn streets. Think Escape from New York as well. This film fits in with all of this aesthetic and idea of this dystopian, horrible, bleak future of the elite who rule over the underdogs, i.e. all the rest of us, and literally are living off us. You know where we're coming to with Soylent Green. You know the huge plot revelation. So anyway, this cop, Charlton Heston, Robert Thorne, is called in to investigate the murder of an elite called Simonson, played by Joseph Cotton. In the beginning of the movie, we see his assassination by a guy who's recruited on the streets. I think what's his name? I'm sure I've got his name. Stephen Young plays Gilbert, who's given this two-piece meat hook. Not a big spiky meat hook, but it's got a spike on it, but it's a two-piece chrome or titanium job. And he's recruited by someone called Gideon, and gotta do this job, take this guy out. And then we see this assassin infiltrate the elite apartment complex, where all the rich, all the higher class live, and they live away from all the masses living on the streets and living in the gutters and in the churches and the church graveyards, and just lining everywhere, just lined up together, snoring together. They live in walled-in apartment complexes on the outskirts of the city, with a moat around them usually. These are matte paintings when you see them, and they're pretty effective, but the moat seems to have dried up as well, because water is in short supply. Anyway, so this guy, Gilbert, claws his way up the wall, the big fortress wall, because this meat hook thing, it's a one-stop shop sort of thing. You can claw into walls, climb up, use it, jimmy open doors and things, and get into hidden and fortified residences, and then use it to kill people. And he breaks in there, and Joseph Cotton, the Simonson, literally greets his extinction with full knowledge this was going to happen, and just turns his back, just fucking do it now. And yeah, so this guy who's like, oh, you knew this was going to happen, and he's kind of like, there's no one waiting here for me, is there? You know. All right then. Oh, douche, puts it in, pulls it out again, douche, does Simonson in. So the great Joseph Cotton, it's basically a cameo. We meet him slightly earlier. He has a concubine, you know. This concubine is played by Lee Taylor Young, the gorgeous and very young Lee Taylor Young. Lee Taylor Young. In this film, the hoi polloi, the rich, the higher classes have women, and the women don't arrive to meet that particular person. Oh, I want this person, I want that person. They come with the apartment, and these apartments have running hot and cold water. They have showers. They have their own markets where fresh food can be sold to them, and they can afford to buy it, obviously. So the elite live. So why did this guy, Simonson, who has this gorgeous young girl, why does he greet its extinction so willingly? What doesn't he want to live for? Why? What does he know? I know. You guys all know what he knows. But we're going to get to that. We're going to drag this out, aren't we? Of course we are. So he gets done in. Well, Shell, her name is, Lee Taylor Young, goes out with his bodyguard and enforcer, played by another Chuck. You've got Charlton Heston, Chuck Heston, and you've got, not Chuck Norris, you've got Chuck Connors, the rifleman, and also the big major werewolf in the TV show Werewolf. Many movies, many TV shows, thousands of TV shows and westerns and all that. And he's the bodyguard. An ex-football player, wasn't he, a linebacker or something? And so a sportsman, and can handle himself. He takes Shell shopping, and they go and get some fresh beef and vegetables and other good swag to come back. And of course, they're the ones who find he's dead. So the police get called in. The police in this world are as corrupt as anything. No real change there, aye? So our boy goes to investigate. Now, our detective, Charlton Heston, Robert Thorne, lives with Edward G. Robinson, the great gangster supremo and one of the world's greatest actors, Edward G. Robinson. In his last film role, the poor guy would die literally 2 to 3 weeks after filming this, and we're going to go into all of that circumstance and how poignant the whole thing really is. Well, Charlton Heston lives with this old guy, and he's known as Buck. His name is Sol Roth, Solomon Roth, not Roth, Solomon's going to call him, Solomon Roth. And he's an ex-college professor. He's very old. And the older people who are very educated, they are now used as what they call books. And the police use these people as, you know, they're the intellect. Or I've got this case here, you know, I've got this intel, this information, here's the evidence we've got here, can you line it all together? And they do all the research, all the backstory on people. And so you've got a lot of these books around, and these books form like an exchange. So you've got like, there's a hierarchy of these guys as well, and they're all intellectuals, they're all from the previous world, before the world completely collapsed. These guys are all, and gals as well, of the intelligentsia, so they can work things out. But there's something going on which they don't realise, but they're going to. So, and you've got a relationship between Charlton Heston and Edward G. Robinson. I mean, the actors aside, but the two characters, the younger Robert Thorne, detective, and the older Buck, Solomon Roth, or Sol as he's known mainly, remembers the old days of trees, of fruit, of real meat, things like this, you know, and they're eating these little. You can see here, I have some Soylent Green props. They're just wafer thin things. In a film, they are bits of cardboard or wood, which you see, but everyone's like eating these things, and like, even you see Charlton Heston eating these things. Well, Sol has to eat them too, but because Robert Thorne is a detective and they're corrupt, every crime scene they go to, they will get stuff from the crime scene and they'll take it. And even his boss, his captain, is corrupt. Everyone's corrupt. They're all trying to make their way and survive in this rather horrible, bleak, nihilistic sort of situation and environment. So whatever he can purloin, he'll bring back. So they will have, a nice meal occasionally, something a bit more special. Everyone's on the take. So he goes out to investigate this, and you meet Chuck Connors again, and you meet Lee Taylor Young, who plays Shell, the concubine, or as the term in the film is, furniture. All the women that you see in this movie are furniture of some description, which means, they are a concubine, a sexual slave. They'll do the cooking, they'll do the cleaning, they'll look after the males of the elite. And this filters down throughout society as well. So even the lesser elite have got a concubine there, a bit of furniture. And and his rights as a detective mean that he can actually bed hair as well, because no one's going to stop him. So he investigates the crime scene, he makes reports, he gets Chuck Connors, who plays, what's his name? Fielding, Tab Fielding. He gets him to where were you? Well, I was out shopping with Shell. He sent us out to do so. But there's no signs of a break. So he got in and he was killed, he was torn apart. You see him lying there, there's a bit of blood on his back, that's it. But it was a big horrible titanium meat-up that went into him. And then obviously the assassin got away and all this, have any enemies? Anything you knew? Was he suicidal? Well, all the events. You, Chuck Connors, go and write me a report. Go out there, write a report. While me and this young lady are going to have some Q&A in the bedroom, if you don't mind. Anyway, Charlton Heston discovers that there's running hot and cold water, and he can't believe all this. He washes his face. First time he's been washed in fucking months, probably. And there's fruit. And there's a piece of beef there. There's whiskey. There's a bottle of whiskey. I think it's whiskey. I can't remember now. There's definitely some hard liquor there, and he's like, because obviously he doesn't get to taste that much. And he gets a swag bag. I think it's a pillowcase, and he puts all this stuff in, and he takes it back to his own dilapidated apartment with Sol, with G. Robinson, and they have a massive banquet. Anyway, it's real beef. And Sol will cry because I think I've never seen anything like this in 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And I just have memories of this stuff. Oh, Thorne, you have no idea. And he will tell Thorne, Charlton Heston, various things from the past, and he'll go all misty-eyed. Edward G. Robinson is outstanding in this movie. So is Chuck Heston as well. They all are, to be honest. They all are. And so in Reverie, but of course, Robert Thorne, the detective, doesn't. I don't know any of this. I just eat my Soylent and get on with things. It's the way life is. Tying his kerchief around his neck again, putting his battered baseball cap on, and going out to work, on the main streets of 2022 New York. And but the investigation will take in places, obviously. Why was this guy killed? Why would someone kill this guy who's high up? And they work out, he worked for the Soylent Corporation. The Soylent Corporation, you say, Kilt-Man? Yes, I do say. And these are the guys who are manufacturing all the food supplies to this massively enormous, overpopulated sort of, humans. And so he's big and powerful. He's on the board of the Soylent Corporation. Charlton Heston's smelling rats here. And the investigation will take in places. We meet the senator, or the governor, who is played by Whit Bissell. Whit Bissell is a ubiquitous character in 40s, 50s and 60s westerns and crime noirs and dramas. And he plays the corrupt governor. what's his name in it? I'm sure I put this down somewhere. Henry C. Santini. You see in the corrupt, overcrowded police station, the precinct house, re-elect, what's his name? Henry C. Santini, for governor. Re-elect him. So you know that he's been in charge and pulling strings, and no one's going to usurp him, no one's going to challenge him. And he's also in league with the Soylent Corporation. So he knows what's been happening. And the more inroads that John Heston will make into the investigation, the more this guy will be like, close this investigation down to the captain of Robert Thorne. And Robert Thorne will not do that. It's like what? Because he comes in with, the swag from each sort of crime scene. He'll take stuff, but he'll give stuff to his captain as well. So that everyone is making some kind of profit out of every situation. You have the disposal squads who come in to, there's a body there, and you see these guys, and these guys are dressed like fucking SAS. They're in black combat fatigues. They've got black balaclavas on, like, you see their eyes, and the body will be wrapped up quickly and escorted away. That's it, gone. Well, any autopsy? Not much of one. It's pretty much done at the scene, in-house, right? You write up your report, I'll agree with what you said, and let's get rid of this body. So you can see how things are like. Richard Fleischer is putting these little clues in there. This scenario, this entire environment, everyone is in it for themselves, and there's a whole hierarchy of something else going on. And we're going to drip feed you all these little bits and bobs, whilst the entire population, 40 million, are just living in squalor and seemingly putting up with it. We know that can't be right. Can it? Can it? Can a state subjugate a population? Can it? It can't be. That's the stuff of science fiction. Anyway. Cheers, y'all. More investigations. Charlton Heston will strike up a massive rapport and relationship with Lee Taylor Young as Shell. He'll go back and he'll be doing the business with her, but he'll be getting more information from her, and she's a great character. There's a great scene where she has a party for fellow concubines and furniture, and they're all in. It's all very loungy stuff, like it's a bit Logan's Run in that respect, and even like Rollerball again, the sort of the party they're having, and it's all very 70s nouveau design, artistic design, and the clothing. And Charles comes in. Charles is played by, where is he now? Leonard Stone plays Charles. He's the apartment proprietor, the landlord basically. So he will sell off or rent out apartments, these luxury apartments above, the downtrodden underclass and all that. And the girl that stays in that apartment, it will be given to the new owner, which will tend to be a male member of the species, and someone who's got moolah, power, and clout. And he, whilst Charlton Heston is bedding Lee Taylor Young, who, let's just say, Charlton Heston had been in so many movies by this point and was a huge figure, a legend in Hollywood. Lee Taylor Young was only young. She just done what is it now? Alice B. Toklas, that movie that came out a couple of years beforehand, which garnered loads of awards. I Love You, Alice B. Toklas, something like that. I've never seen it, but never seen it. And she was really intimidated by working with Charlton Heston, this statuesque Hollywood icon. And she had nude scenes with him. And this is a guy I've revered, and there's his bits. And they lie in bed together, and there's love-making scenes. And she was very scared and very intimidated, but she really worked this to her own advantage, because they got hot and cold running water in there. They got showers. Do you fancy a shower? I'll cook you breakfast as well. And it's like, I've got to go to work, but yeah, okay, All right, I'll do it. Yeah, let's have a shower. So you see them through the mosaic sort of glass screen door. They're clearly nude there, the two of them. And to break the awkwardness that she felt, she actually said to him like a line about like parting the water, like he does as Moses parting the Red Sea in the Ten Commandments. And as she recollected way afterwards and like reminisced, she like it went right over his head. He didn't get the joke at all. Pop water. But anyway, and she does really well. She said that Charlton Heston was very serious, very not taciturn but insular on set, and she thought, I'm not getting on with him at all. But when the action, he does the scenes and he's great and he's warm and he's affectionate, or he's aggressive or he's brusque, he's whatever the role and the scene calls for. So, but after the cut, he wouldn't talk to anyone. He would just go off and like, well, am I doing the right thing? Only young and naive. And then afterwards, they went to loads of premieres and parties, and he said he was fantastic. So the on set, he is very focused on playing the character. I don't need to get to know you, after the take's been done. We won't sit down and have coffee and a meal in a canteen together. I go to my palatial trailer with my moat around it and my security guards, and you won't come near. But that was how Hollywood ran, and Charlton Heston was a baby of that system. Anyway, so this Charles comes in whilst he's in bed with Lee Taylor Young. Charles comes in, this Leonard Stone character, who's a right twat and a half, and it's a horrible scene. All the other women are all there. It's their one bit of time where they can get together. And he comes in, he slaps them around. What are you doing in here? You're breaking all the rules. Slap, backhand, slap, backhand. He gets one girl, picks her up, and he fucking punches her in the stomach. Boof! And do you know what? It makes my blood fucking boil, because the scene's so good, so raw. And she goes, and the way she reacts, and she hits the couch, and she's like, and you see her writhing in agony, punched in the belly. And he picks another one up and throws her around the room. And you're hoping, come on, Robert Thorne, Charlton Heston, come out and fucking kick his fucking ass. And Charlton Heston does come out, tying the neckerchief around his neck. It's cap on that, like a Major Dundee, And I'm also Moses. And I'm also El Cid. And he does have a squaring off with Charles. But he doesn't smack him at all, doesn't hit him. He just says like, no, these women are all here for questioning. If you've got a problem with that. And Charles is kind of like, no. Only because he knows that this guy's a detective and he can do whatever the hell he wants to him. So he's like, I don't like you. I don't trust you. I know you're using your power. I know you're lying. I know you've been shagging hair. And these were having a party against the rules of this apartment complex, which I run, and I made those rules. But I can't argue with you, can I? So, yes, well, we don't want any complaints now, do we? And I'm sure that if none of these ladies want to make any complaints, then I won't have any complaints. And if I've got no complaints, and you've got no complaints, have you? And this whole complaints thing goes on for a bit, and you're thinking, Chuck, fucking smack the cunts, boo, 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 you little shit. But no, he doesn't do it. But it's a great, powerful scene showing the sheer power and authority of the men folk over the women folk. You will not see a single woman in this film, apart from the ones in the book exchange, you have any kind of authority or power at all. In this society, it doesn't exist. And it's not just relevant to the 1970s and the 60s, it's also relevant to today. And this film, I swear to God, you watch this film now, and you will see so many things which are happening right now, and things you've gone like, I always suspected, what Burger King were doing. The McSoylent burgers, You will see a lot of things which are so highly relevant to today's society. They were relevant back then, they're relevant today. Nothing has changed. As Richard Fleischer said in his commentary of this movie with Lee Taylor Young, everything we said back then, it's happening now. We could see it happening back in the late 60s and early 70s. So our film readapted Harry Harrison's novel and made it more relevant to, because don't forget the novel came out in 66, this was 73. So a good few years had passed, but I think it's only shaped what Harry Harrison had said in his book, but they were worse, and the implications were far worse. There is the terrific opening sequence. Let's put that on. Well, let's put the music on anyway. There's a wonderful opening montage showing how society has built up to this, with this wonderful piece of almost lazy, bluesy, slightly countrified track. And you see like a montage, a split screen thing of industrialization, machines, people, more and more people in each shot. There's more people there as the decades go on. And of course you get to the 70s, you get through like race riots and that, like in the 60s, and you got stuff in the other countries as well. Suddenly little roads and country lanes become like multi-freeways, multi-level, with millions of traffic all back housed up the arse and back again, you know. And it's just, it shows the acceleration of mankind and its descent into what would become anarchy and chaos because of us shagging endlessly and bringing more and more people into the world and just destroying the world around us. It's a brilliant montage, and his name was Braverman. I forgot his first name, but Braverman, this guy Braverman, did this lovely sort of soul bass style montage thing, and it works a treat. It really sets the tone. We did this, we brought ourselves to this, and Fleischer says, like, so when we made the movie, this was happening right then and there, and we just thought, well, we'll make the movie and we'll tell this version of what could be. And decades later, he's doing his commentary for the movie, and he's saying, like, we were right about most of it already. It's happening right now, and the big giveaway might be the only solution we have to feeding the world. Again, I haven't said what it is yet, have I? But you know what it is. Soylent Green is very green for now. Anyway, so the investigation proceeds. This assassin, Gilbert, has been sort of reassigned. So we know that Robert Thorne is being tailed. Everybody goes, he's getting tailed, and he knows it. And you have these sort of police phones on street corners. It's a bit of the time. There's no mobile phone system, but there's probably no satellites. There's probably nothing like that at all. So anyway, he's got to use a little key code thing to open the thing door, get a phone out. No. Precinct House 14. Captain, what's his name? His captain's name is Chief Hatcher, played by Brock Peters. I'll come on to the cast, and Chuck Heston had worked with most of these people before. He worked with most of them before in some great movies, and we'll work with them afterwards as well in some cases. But Hatcher, Chief Hatcher, like I'm being tailed, I'm being followed, So he knows people after him, but he's got these little police payphones, which you'll see a couple of times, like. But he's not too worried about this sort of thing. He's a rough, tough customer, and he can throw his weight around. It's Charlton Heston, of course it is. And he learns that Simonson, the one who was assassinated, went to a church and met a priest and gave confession there. So he goes to this church, and it's a very poignant scene again. He walks up the church steps, and there's a small child who is sort of tethered by a cord to her mother, her dead mother. And Charlton Heston says, well, you're dead. Well, the kid's alive. He unties the kid, picks it up, walks into the church, which is full of, it's a big cathedral. There's millions of people just lying there. They're on hospital beds and gurneys and bunk beds and things. There's nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. Just there's life there, and there's nurses and sisters who are nuns and that who are working there. He says, "Sister," and just gives the kid. But he's not arsed. The woman died out there, but he sees it all the time. He's not bothered. This is a very common occurrence. And he sees the priest, and the priest is played by Lincoln Kilpatrick, who 2 years before would be brother Zachary, who would try to kill Charlton Heston in the Omega Man. Yes, it's him. And you see this guy, and he's haunted. He's the priest. He's just known as the priest. And he's just like, have I done something wrong? He goes, I'm a detective, Robert Thorne. I'm going to call him Robert Neville. Could the Omega Man and all that. And he says, have I done something wrong? No, Father, I'm investigating a murder of a guy that came to see you, a rich man. A rich man? I don't know, a rich man. And he came only a few days ago. He gave confession to you. This is the man. Can you remember what he said? And this is brilliant, this sequence, because that Simonson, however you pronounce it, forgotten now, has confessed something which he knows, which led up to him allowing himself to be assassinated, because he couldn't go on living anymore. He couldn't trust himself with the knowledge that he had. Yeah, and he goes and confesses to the priest, and he's told the priest something absolutely revelatory. Yeah, see what I did there? And he now is just, because he can't, his faith tells him, I can't tell you what he told me. I know, but just, you saw this man, and what, can you tell me anything? I can't tell you anything. And in a great line, he says, he's dead. You should have a requiem mass. Should I make room? He says. Call the people that are there. Should I make room? Harry Harrison's novel is called Make Room, Make Room. Yeah. Should I make room? I thought that was just sensational. That's a great little tie-in there. The reason why the film is not called Make Room, Make Room, which is a bit of a shit title, to be honest. Although Soylent Green came out, you'd be like, what the hell does that mean? What the hell is that like? But anyway, the taglines kind of, lead you up to that. And but there's another film out which said make room for so and so, and it's forgotten now again. I didn't make a note on that either. Silly me. And so they thought Fleischer and the filmmakers went we can't call it anything like that. So we'll call it about what we've given the story about, this Soylent Green nutritional fucking wafer. Let's call it that. That's why that happened. But this priest said, should be a requiem mass, but there's no room. Should I make room? Oh, Father, just forget it, And John Heston, look, there's something going on here. This guy was killed for a reason, obviously, but he allowed it to happen. And he's told the priest there's something going on. It's to do with Soylent Corporation. Now, remember when I said when he first went to the crime scene, he took loads of things, food and whiskey and other stuff, and he took the furniture as well, but left the furniture there for he could come back and take the furniture again and again and again. And it's Lee Taylor Young, so you can't blame him. He took some journals, great big leather-bound, gold embossed journals of the scientific studies of the Soylent Corporation from 2014 to 2016, and then 16 to 22 or something like that. These two big tomes, and he gives them to Buck Edward G. Robinson. And I got these as well. Take a look at those, why don't you? And of course, the secret will be within those tomes. In a way, it's a bit like, how obvious was that? You got to keep this thing a secret, but you've got it in these books, and this guy that you're going to kill, it's in those books. So you don't take these, say, journals, scientific sort of records of all the years of whatever they've been doing, their experimentation and their productivity for the sort of corporation. But you left them there. So Buck, Sol, Edward G. Robinson will read these, and right, there's something in here which I need to take to the exchange, the book exchange, with all the other books, and I want them to read it, because I'm not sure if I'm seeing this right, but I want them to read it first. He doesn't tell Robert Thorne this initially. Chuck Connors as Tab Fielding. This guy's definitely in on it, and of course, John Heston fucking realises this. So he goes and investigates his apartment. And remember, all departments, no matter, even the detectives, the police, some of the officials, and the enforcers and bodyguards will live in apartments which have got, okay, they're festooned with people on the stairs and the landings outside, but your room is secure because you've got enforcers there with M16 SP1s sitting there on the top of these things. But to be honest with you, you know, you need a lot of magazines and a lot more guards to fend off all these people if they want to just rise up and do something. But they're all apathetic. Most of these people, until there's a riot, and we'll talk about the riots in a bit, they're dying of fucking smog and starvation for one thing, and Soylent's overdosing. So you've got these guys sitting there like cartel sort of fucking enforcers, big fat sweaty bastards, you know, sitting on a landing on a rickety chair with an M16, you know. But our boy goes to Tab Fielding's apartment, and he's not there at the time. Like, but his piece of furniture is Black Dancer, Paula Kelly as Martha Fielding. So she's married to him, and he goes in there. Now she's eating strawberries. She's got a little plate, and she's got fresh strawberries there, and she's eating them. And he comes, you know, it's police. I'm a detective. Let me in now. She's like, oh shit, like, and tries to hide, you know, stand up in front of it and all that. And he comes in, he goes, this is a really nice apartment you got here. Lots of space, lots of space. How'd you get to afford this? Anyway, what are you? Well, my name's, what's her name again? Martha. My name's Martha. Furniture? I've been living with him for 4 years. Furniture. It's just this cynical, horrible sort of attitude that they have. And he's the good guy, but the good guy is swayed by society and society's mores. He has a job, but we learn that if he's off sick for 2 days, he'll lose that job. And he'll get shot in the line of duty, but he can't put up with the wound. He's going to have to keep on working because, you know, he's off sick for 2 days, he'll lose his job. So everyone is like, you know, literally one step away from being unemployed and being on the streets and dying in the smog. A word about the smog. This film is not colourful. Apart from the rich apartments, there's no colour in this movie at all. It's green and grey and brown and drab. Everyone wears, unless you're in the apartments, everyone wears safari looking colours. Khaki, grey, green, brown, that's it. And you've got this perma green haze, and that was done with filters, putting coloured dyes into filters with water in them and using them on the cameras. So it gives this ever-present hot haze. Everyone is sweating. It really works. I don't think, you know, I think what helps about it is filming it on the MGM backlot, because it's LA. So you had smog anyway in the 70s, well, probably still do now. You had smog, and I don't think they had, and it's dusty and it's very bright and, like, you know, it's global warming. I think if they'd filmed it in New York, those filters wouldn't have done the effect anywhere near as effectively. I think because you've got the filters and you're filming it in LA, actually works to its advantage in this case. So he's talking to her and all that, like, and yeah, furniture. And but yeah, really nice apartment. When's he back? Well, I'm not sure where he is right now. Blah blah. Anyway, but he's now done a reconnoitre of Tab Fielding's apartment. Knows this guy's got money. Where's your money coming from? You're just an enforcer. You shouldn't have all the hoi polloi there. And I keep saying hoi polloi. Hoi polloi is actually, all my life I've got that phrase wrong. The hoi polloi are the underclass. But it got misused in a lot of British sitcoms in the 70s and the 80s, meaning hoi polloi was the upper class, the upper echelon, and it's not, it's the lower one, but it's filtered into my brain, and I keep saying hoi polloi meaning the upper class when it's the exact opposite. Anyway, so this guy's living a bit more above his station. How's he doing that? Anyway, she gets rid of him, and he said, I'll be back. I'll speak to him soon. Don't worry about that. And she looks over the place where she had the strawberries, and the fucking strawberries have gone. And she's like, bastard, you know, because also that's contraband, so she could get done for having that. Although the cops nick it all and like spread it amongst themselves and all that. Like, but anyway, so he's gone back, and they have this fantastic feast with Sol, with Edward G. Robinson. That meat they cooked, he got earlier, and vegetables. There's a stick of celery, and I think there's onions there, and like Sol is in tears, and he's just like, and this scene was actually ad-libbed. It wasn't in the script at all. The Charlton Heston and Edward G. Robinson said, like, look, why don't we have a scene where we actually show them eating the food and enjoying it? It won't go anywhere. Initially, the scene was me like, well, you get the food prepared. I've got all this stuff for you. So, look at this. This is what you've been dreaming of. And I'm like, oh, we're going to have a great feast tonight. Thorn, sit down. I'll cook you the meal you've been dreaming of. And but it was going to cut all the actual eating the meal out and just cut to them afterwards. Well, that was a fantastic feast. But instead, it shows you them eating it, and you just see Sol is in reverie. He's just, oh my god, this is the best ever. And they've got the whiskey as well, like they're drinking that. And there's not a lot of food there, but the taste and the flavour. And of course, like Robert Thorne, Charlton Heston's kind of like, well, no, it's nice, but he's not used to it. He's so not used to that kind of food, where it's bringing back the taste buds and the memories for Sol. He's like, his palate hasn't got used to it yet. But anyway, he goes, oh, I've got to go to work. Puts his cap on again, his neckerchief round, his kerchief, his Major Dundee look. And he's got the spoon with a strawberry on it in his pocket. He goes, oh, by the way, got you this as well, like, and gives it to Sol, and Sol just goes, fresh strawberries? Where'd you get this? You know, and you can see just, Edward G. Robinson is the heart and the soul of this movie, which we'll come on to. We still got that bit to come, and anyway, it's just it breaks you down a bit, like, because it's all well and good saying like, oh look, these guys don't know what the food was like in the past and all this. The rich people have got it all, but everyone else, all the characters haven't got a clue what it's all about. And you're like, well, as if. I mean, Charlton Heston's he's not a young man in this. He's got to be in his 50s when he's making this movie. So you think, well, hang on a minute. And there's a thing about burials, the burials. Even Lee Taylor Young says something about like, well, shouldn't you have some kind of burial because about a former boss, Simonson, Joseph Cotton. My grandmother spoke about these things. So there's filtered memories. So you think, like, what's the age gap? Is Sol like 100 years older than everybody else? But anyway, it is what it is. And I've got to go to work. And he goes in, and he's found out more and more stuff, like that. This whole thing stinks. And you've met the governor again, Whit Bissell, and they've got an arbitrarium, a little tree tent. I forgot the fucking word for it now. The only surviving tree in New York is in this great big sort of environmental tent in the middle of what would be left of Central Park, I presume. And people go in there, well, the rich go in there just to sit and look at this tree, this lovely tree. And he's in there and he meets, not Gilbert, I think it's Donovan, who's the guy. He's got a big fucking flat cap on and glasses and tufty hair underneath, like, looks like something like Michael Bentine's Potty Time. He's the go-between. He's the guy that arranges, the assassin to do this and do that. So Charles has been told, back off this case by his boss, Hatcher. Is it Hatcher? Yeah. Get off this case. It's been closed down. Who's closed it down? My bosses have closed it down. The governor's closed it down, so that means it's over. No. No, it's not over. There's something going on here, and I'm going to find out. There's something wrong. Something smells wrong with the fish in Denmark, and I'm going to find out what it is. No, I'm your boss. No, I don't give a fuck whose boss you are. I'm going to suss this out. If you're on their payroll, I'll take you down as well. It's like, oh, no, Thorn. You're a thorn in my side. Don't do this. I've advised you not to, but oh, well, anyway, just watch your back, all right? And so Thorn goes out of the office like, I'm gonna suss this out. In the meantime, the governor's going like, right, this guy won't close down the case. He says to this go-between assassin employer, do what you have to do. Okay, we'll do. So obviously this enforcer's now going to go and get the assassin they used to kill Simonson to go after Thorn, who's been trailed anyway because this guy Simonson was very important. We don't want any investigation into this because it could expose Soylent Green. It could do. So watch this guy, and now he won't. He's going to carry on with the investigation. We're going to take him out. So he's pissed off his boss already. So he walks out into the crowded office of the precinct, and you've got to realise that these cops are beleaguered. It's like Custer's Last Stand, In the precinct house, you've got hundreds of homeless in there as well, who are trying to claim benefits and whatever, get something out of life. So it's crowded out. So investigations aren't very privately conducted at all. And as he's walking out, storming off, like this other guy who is Mike Henry, who is a baseball player, and he's another sportsman who plays a cop called Kulozic Irrigation. And so like, oh, by the way, Thorn, you're on riot control today with the rest of us. Get your helmet, get your gear. And these guys wear, now Rollerball came out just after this, and the American football helmets they wear, the big fucking helmets, these guys wear those helmets, but they're painted silver. Now, no riot squad ever has worn helmets like that. I know, I checked. In the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, they're crash helmets, then Kevlar. But they're never like with the fucking big chin guard and all that, the big, wraparound steel apparatus and all this. They're not like that. But all these guys are there, and they're trying to quell a riot in the streets because they've run out of Soylent Green. Soylent Green, the very thing that the crowds are going crazy for, because it's the best tasting bits of soy you can ever get. There's a great big con that goes on. You've got Soylent Red, you've got Soylent Yellow, and you've got Soylent Green. Red, green, yellow. Should be blue, shouldn't they, really, think about it? And but there's a big con because they're in Tupperware trays and all that, like, and you've got Soylent Crumbs. So these are bits. You see people come out with like little handfuls and just crumbs of this shit, like you see behind me here. And like, it's horrible when you think about it. And anyway, they run out of Soylent Green, so like a riot takes place. Have a look at some of the extras in this scene, because you've got street vendors there, and one of them is played by Robert Ito. And when I watched it just recently, I thought like, I recognise. You see for a split second, I thought, I recognise him. He's the assistant for Quincy MD. Quincy, Jack Klugman, the TV show. He's the Oriental. Robert Ito plays his assistant. You see him for like 2 or 3 seconds. That's it. But I went, I know you. And so a riot takes place. So you get this guy, the baseball player, Mike Henry, is Kulozic. So like, disperse. The scoop wagons are on their way. The scoop wagons. One of the big visual elements that makes this film very memorable is the great big disposal trucks that come down with great big scoops, great big shovels on the front. Oh, these come down and they scoop up people and throw them in the back of the truck. And this riot scene's fucking awesome when you think about it. It took him a week to film it. Richard Fleischer said, like, look, we had literally hundreds and hundreds of extras. He said, but remarkably, no one was injured during the riot scene. And they're all giving it loads. They're pushing the riot cops through windows and stuff like, and there's all stuff taking place. He said, but for every sort of 20 people, you'd have one stuntman in charge to corral and marshal them. And if you watch it, it is fucking, it's pretty meaty stuff. I don't mean violence-wise, there's not a great deal of that taking place, but it's the crush of people shot with long lenses to make it even more, congested looking. But these big trucks are coming down, and you've got a cordon of these riot cops who are standing beside these things. You've got big, powerful trucks moving through crowds of people, and then these big shovels slam down, and with spikes on the front, and scoop up people. Everyone is scooped, and people fall off these things. They're hanging off these things, and they're lifted up, and like, ooh, the big flatbed, ooh, and dropped in, and then another look on top, whoa, whoa, whoa. And they're all stuntmen. Every single person gets scooped is a stuntman. I mean, quelle surprise, but it looks effective, and it really, really works. Now, I'm going to say right now, you don't see do these people get compacted? I think they do. It doesn't show that, but I would assume, and you know what the pay end of this is, that these are part of the food chain as well. So if you've got them all, throw them in, more and more and more. Oh, there's too many in there, they're getting out. Well, we'll just squash them down and then take some more in. They're not going to be counted off to be arrested, are they? They're going to be squished, squashed and compacted and made into... Yeah. But in this maelstrom of chaos, the assassin Gilbert sees, well, he knows that Robert Thorne's going to be there. And Robert Thorne has a gun. All the bad guys have guns, but they're all carrying Smith & Wesson detective pistols, detective specials, 38 specials, and the bad guys have sound suppressors on all of them, making a little noises, and Gilbert goes after Arboy, and Arboy in the crowd. Gilbert's the worst assassin going. He hits everybody other than Charlton Heston. People are getting shot in the head, they're getting shot in the back. There's all like big blood squibs. And they're getting wasted left, right, and centre. And then finally, Charlton Heston takes the fucking helmet off and finds him, goes after him, fucking grabs him, throws him against one of the scoop trucks, bang like that, and throws him down. And it goes for his own gun like that. But in the meantime, Gilbert pulls out his gun and manages to shoot Charlton Heston in the calf, in the fucking shin and calf of his right leg. Well, not a good. Well, there's worse places to be hit, let's be honest, but not a good place either way. And like, Charlton's about to shoot him, like and suddenly the big scoop comes down in like frame jerk fast motion. It comes down, whoop, and squashes Gilbert, squished him flat. You see his legs sticking out and a big pool of blood and all that, like. And in a great iconic shot, which Charlton Heston does in all of these movies, Planet of the Apes, Mega Man, and this, there's a shot, a low angled shot looking up at Heston, who's just gone through something and just world weary, cynical. Not again, And his head's on an angle like that. And it's just, when those shots come into these movies, I'm like, yes! It's the Heston moment. Fucking get in there. And he does it there. So now he knows, look, this guy has been sent after me. I'm really onto something here. Really, really onto it. Like, and he's been shot in the fucking leg now. So, and he doesn't do much to treat it, because as I said before, if you're, he goes back to see Lee Taylor Young, Shell, and she bandages up his leg and all that. So you see a doctor about this, like, doctors. There's something you don't see any doctors in this movie at all. You have people who are supposedly medical, but they're not, trying to get people better, as we're going to find out. and not during. We're going to come on to that sequence. So, gets his leg bandages up. He's like, no, fucking, I know who's behind this. She goes back to Tab Fielding's fucking apartment, Chuck Connors, big Chuck Connors, and like he's up. Well, anyway, Chuck Connors comes back home and opens the door, and like he sees his Mrs. Martha's there, like, and she's like looking dead nervous over that way. You know, it's like, huh. Heston's behind the door. Fuck off! Great big fight sequence in this apartment. Fucking unbelievable. Bang, bang, bang. This fight, Charlton Heston and Chuck Norris, the two Chucks do almost all their own stunts in this movie. Almost all their own stunts, and the fight scenes. Both are very well able to do so. And it's proper 70s hard, brutal stuff, like, you know, fucking smack, smack, smack in the face, and knee to the fucking guts. And then, but Chuck Norris won't fight Chuck Norris. The line I came out with there almost was Chuck Norris won't fight back, because Chuck Norris doesn't need to fight back. His eyes will do the damage for him. Chuck Connors won't fight back. Tab Fielding won't fight back because he's like, oh no, I won't hit a cop, because he knows that'll be the end for him. Like, but his missus gets involved, so Chuck Heston then fucking slaps her, bang, 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 and throws her against the door. Now, she was cast in the role because she was a dancer and very physical, and Richard Fleischer knew that she could handle this scene. She will look good doing it, like, and be convincing, and she'll take a role in a hit, and she does, bang. But that's enough for Chuck Connors. He's like, bastard. So he leaps up, and he does like a fucking leaping karate kick on Chuck Heston, who goes flying back into the kitchen. And then like, this scene's great. It's a proper hoof in the bollocks. And it's all done in one take as well. Like, he's done a karate kick on Chuck Heston, and then Heston comes back and boots him. So from behind, you just see Chuck Connors get lifted by a boot in his magical bits. Boom! Oh! In the air, and then slammed into this fucking wall, and then hits the deck, gets hoofed in the guts, hoofed in the face. It's superbly violent. And then Chuck delivers this great line. Chuck Heston, this is. So like, look, I know you fuckers are in on this. You know, I know you've been following me, you've been telling me trying to get me assassinated and all this blah 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 blah. You know, you could be doing fucking time for life in a waste disposal unit. Maybe if you're that Soylent company you're working for, you know, how'd you like that then, hey? And he says like, look, no one's gonna follow me, no one's telling me ever again. Get off my back or I'll come back here and I'll kill the both of you. And it's like, holy shit, you're meant to be a cop. Wow. It's one of those great fucking kick-ass verbal moments after being a very physical moment as well. Like get off my back, I'll come back and I'll fucking kill the both of you. And he slams the fucking door and storms out. Like, it's a great scene. I should have said that Tab Fielding has realised that, or rather been told that our boy has been to speak to the priest. So he's gone in there, joined the line for the confessional, and gone in there, waited his turn, gone in there with his silenced, detective revolver, and yes, my son, says our stricken priest, who's just, he's seen the end of the world, and he's just like, he can't deal with it at all. In a way, he needs to die because he can't deal with the truth. You can't handle the truth. And forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been 6 months since my last confession. He's putting the silencer on, like, and then just shoots him point blank with a fucking partition with the head, and just calmly looks over. Yeah, you're dead. Walks out. So they killed the priest as well. And then that fight takes place. Anyway, so things are rocketing now. Sol has now been to the book exchange with those 2 tomes about all the facts and figures to the Soylent Corporation, and he sat with them, giving them the books. Then he goes back again, like, and they tell him, well, they don't tell us, they tell him, yes, all this is true. And Sol says, like, I've read the words, but I can't believe it. It can't be true. No, it's all true. All these learned old scholars and haggard old faces are all like, it's true. We need proof. We need proof so we can go to the there's an international body of something or other which rules the world. Like, I suppose like what the UN would have been back in those days, which of course now means absolutely fuck all. Fuck all. The UN means nothing now. So, you know, we need proof, we need evidence, and then we can go to this body, and then we can get this stopped and whatever, blah blah blah. I'll get proof. I'll where's God in all of this? He says, like, and the main one, this female, I forgot her name now. She says, like, God, oh, you won't find God in any of this. And he goes, I'll find God. Where will you find God now in this world? In his home. In his home. So Sol, Edward G. Robinson, goes home to the apartment and leaves a little note for Robert Thorne. Robert Thorne comes over after all of this, you know, the fights and the fucking all sorts, and you know, and some good sex with Lee Taylor Young. Comes home and he sees this little note, and it says, like, dear Thorne, I love you. I've gone home. Sol. And it's like, the hell? But he realises because he's, well, I don't know how he realises, to be honest, where he's gone. But Sol's been like a desperate sort of spirit, a lonely, haunted spirit. The world that used to be, the world that had seas, had wildlife, forests, farms, real food, and he misses it. So like, I don't want to live, you know, there's no point living in this world. Pointless. They have euthanasia clinics, voluntary euthanasia clinics in the city. So Thorne susses out that's where he's gone, and he has gone there. So we see in this incredibly elaborate, I'm going to bring this back a bit again because Tchaikovsky and Beethoven will play a huge part in this. Sol goes there and they greet him, and just a queue's there and on it, but you don't wait long in the queue. And he said, like, this takes 20 minutes, yeah. They're all in robes, all these people, the staff all in robes. It takes 20 minutes, yeah. So your name, what's his name again? Solomon Roth, yeah. And he says, like, what's your favourite colour? Orange. Yeah, orange. And what kind of music do you like? Classical. Light classical. Okay. Come with me. And he gets escorted off to this room, put on the bed, stripped off, put on the bed under the robe. There's two people there, and they'll give him a drink. But what happens is, like, a huge screen will open up, almost like a old Cinerama. We're not talking IMAX here. We're talking it's widescreen, you know, ultra widescreen, and he'll be there to die, and it will show him imagery of brooks and streams and birds flying across savannah, deer, antelope, mountains, prairies, meadows, glaciers, the sunrise, the sunset, all the things that the world has hidden from everybody because it's not there anymore, because we've destroyed the world. And he'll lie there and watch that as he dies. Now, before we get on to this scene in question, Edward G. Robinson was dying of cancer at this time. Uh, you listen to some of the reports of the movie, and some people say like, oh, no one ever knew. No, they pretty much all knew. Charlton Heston knew, Italy Young knew, Richard Fleischer knew. Edward G. Robertson's wife was there every single day on set to stay with him. And it's in a contract that he had to finish at 5 o'clock every single day, no matter what the situation was. Whether he finished the scene or not, he had to finish at 5 o'clock to go home to rest. But Edward G. Robertson, ever the professional, would always, no, I'll carry on. No, don't worry about the contract. I want to stay. And even when he finished doing a scene, he'd demand to stay on the set. Just give me a chair and I'll sit and watch the rest of it. At this stage in the game, with the cancer as well, he was also pretty much deaf, almost profoundly deaf. So he was learning his lines, and he was so good at doing this. You couldn't hear Charlton Heston or anyone else speaking to him, but he learned by lip reading and by timing to get his lines just right. And you will not cotton on to that. You will not Joseph cotton on to that, because it's so seamless. And it plays like Tchaikovsky and Beethoven, and he's there watching the well that he missed. His wife, for this particular scene, she refused to sit there on the set and watch this, because she knew, as well he knew, and Richard Fleischer knew, Charlton Heston knew, everyone pretty much knew, he wouldn't last another 2 or 3 weeks after filming this. This was his swan song. Shit. You know how I get. His wife wouldn't watch him act his death scene out, knowing he'd go through it. And yet he did it. And in this scene, Heston gets there just in time. I'm a cop, I've got to find Solomon Roth, take me to him now. But of course the whole death is now underway. So there's a guy there who's like watching in the window and all that, making sure it's all old platitudes and all that sanctimonious crap. And he said, like, look, I've got to speak to him now. You can't. And Heston gets his arm at his back. You get that channel open so I can speak to him, or you'll die before he does. Okay, speak now. Solomon, Thorn. Oh, I'm glad you made it. Thorn, can you see? And John Heston sees all this vista, all this, the world that used to be, that Solomon knew and loved and revered, has been denied the population of humans ever since. Now, in reality, the music was playing, but Edward G. Robertson couldn't hear it because he was deaf. But the imagery's not there. It was put in afterwards. So Edward G. Robertson is reacting to something he can't see, but he knows what he's meant to be seeing. And you see Charlton Heston, the most, I've said this so many times, the most stoic, taciturn, rock, granite-faced character actor of all. Barely any emotion. What comes through his voice and his dialogue. But in this, he breaks down. You can't see this, although Sol says to him, can you see? Thorn, can you see it? And Thorn's going, I see it, Sol. You know, it's like I told you, isn't it? He's like, how could I ever have imagined? And he's looking around at all this, the deer and the mountains, the plateaus and landscapes and rivers and sea and fish and all this. And how could I ever imagine? And he fills up and he's crying. Charlton Heston's crying because he's watching Edward G. Robertson die. And that's why he's crying. So they're real tears. I'm fucking crying now myself. It's so powerful. Movie icons like Charlton Heston and Edward G. Robertson doing a scene like this where it's mortality for real. There's nothing like this. The 70s hit home with so many movies, performances, ideas, imagery and emotion. This is why Fleischer said this film is important, and Edward G. Robinson himself said, look, I know I'm dying, but I want to make this movie because it's telling the world something. It's got a message. It believes in what it's telling you, and what it's telling you is true. Soylent Green is people. I've blown the twist. I don't believe it. And that's why I want to do it. What an immaculate, perfect swan song for such a great actor to go out like that. He died 3 weeks afterwards. Fleischer went to his house after the film had wrapped and had a marvellous meal there. And Edward G. Robinson was a collector of artwork, sculptures and paintings and fine art. And he said, at the end of the evening, he said, you've got to come back again because I won't be here, but my art will want to see you again. And he did, he died. But this scene is so beautiful, powerful. And it's when you know what happened behind the scenes, that he wasn't even looking at any of this, but he imagined it himself and knew that he was going to go through that exact thing anytime. Soylent Green is a great movie in many respects, but it's elevated because of this. And the film, it doesn't exploit it. It uses it. It's part of the story. It's definitely there. They didn't do it because they knew Edward G. Robinson was dying. They didn't do it deliberately. Or let's cash in on that. Because by the time the film came out, obviously he died, and but the world just saw a fabulous final performance, and they see Charlton Heston, Moses, Taylor from Planet of the Apes, Robert Neville from the Omega Man. They see him crumble, and if that guy can crumble, we're all gonna crumble. Anyway, so in this scene as well, the sound, the window shuts and all that, and the sound breaks down and all that, and it's you're able to speak to him he's get it working again, for God's sake, because Sol's saying to him Thorn, I've got to tell you something, Thorn, because don't forget he knows the secret of Soylent Green. So in a beautiful moment, it's he puts a microphone in, and gives him the earphones, Sol, yes, I can hear you, Sol, I'm here. And then you see Edward G. Robinson, you hear little bits, Simonson, Soylent, and you don't hear what he's saying. You see the lips moving, and you see a close-up of Heston's face. He's just told him the secret of Soylent Green, and then he dies, and he's so he realizes, and he watches, because Edward G. Robinson has now died, Sol's died. Those robed assistants come in and just pull a sheet over his head, and the door slides up, and they whisk him off. So Heston now realizes, Robert Thorne realizes, right, he comes out, don't forget, he's been shot in the leg as well, and he comes out and he thinks, I've got to find out where these bodies are going. And you could argue that this entire finale is kind of rushed, but it's a brilliant payoff to what you've had and the build-up and this sort of corrupt, lackadaisical, sleazy, end-of-the-world detective yarn, police procedural. It's a great finale to that. So he runs out and limps out, and he watches where the bodies go, and the bodies get taken out the back, and all those SAS garb balaclava guys are getting these bodies and putting them into the backs of dump trucks. Yeah, they haven't got the scoops on the front, but they're the same, similar waste disposal trucks. Think Invasion of the Body Snatchers, very similar to that. You know, the Philip Kaufman 1978 version, which is outstanding. I've reviewed it and covered that. And so human race is ends up in the rubbish, like Rabid for David Cronenberg. We all get dumped in the waste refuge trucks at the end of the day because we're just nothing. We're worthless. Only in this film we are worth something, as we're going to find out. So like, even with his bad leg, he's like, he watches all these bodies getting put on these trucks, right? And he fucking runs up and he climbs on the back of one. This Chuck Heston doing it again, climbs on the back of one and gets on the roof of it. And these trucks drive off and they don't go very far. Everything's down the road in this. The euthanasia clinic is within easy jogging distance of the apartment, you know, where Sol and Robert Thorne were staying. He gets on the back of the truck drives out. Now don't forget, this is filmed on the MGM backlot, but they drove to a real life facility, a Chevron power plant, which was abandoned, and they got it working again. Fleischert and the company got it working again. MGM this is. And they got conveyor belts all powered up. They got all machinery with the blinking lights and the whirring noises, and everything's fucking working. And in a clever move, they drive up to like a perimeter guard, sort of perimeter, and you got all the driver, the balaclava driver, to a waste disposal crewmen. They get out of the truck that's delivering, and they go across the cordon and get in a truck which is done delivering, and they go and drive that truck out. They don't go inside. These guys who are faceless don't go inside, but it's other guys, all armored M16s, SP1s, they're all there. And like, but a driver from the Soylent Corporation factory will get in and drive it in. So what happens then, Heston's still on top, but he's watched this exchange of drivers and all that, like, and it goes in. I mean, it's a bit naff. You'd have spotted. You'd have cameras, some on the roof there, some on the roof. It's all top secret stuff. You'd be like, fucking, let's get him, guy on the roof there. Drives up, like, and all these bodies get tumbled out, and they go into another conveyor belt thing, and then Heston gets in there and he watches all these bodies, and they go down a conveyor belt, and obviously Sol, his friend, they're all in shrouds now. They're all like, his friend is amongst all this lot, so he must know that as well. He's got straight on the truck where Sol's gone into, and they get dropped into this pool, this weird pool, and all these bodies are just dropping in. But this massive plant, this factory plant. No. We'll go back towards the end of it. And so he prowls around and he sees all these, the bodies go in, chickens go in, pies come out, humans go in, Soylent Green comes out. So the bodies go into the pool after being on conveyor belts and all that, and then he sees another conveyor belt and it's full of all these green wafers, Soylent Green. Sol has told him this, now he's got the proof. He's been there, he's seen the bodies go in, Soylent Green comes out. People are eating Soylent Green. People are eating people. It's cannibalism. How to keep a rising population fed when there's no arable food, crops, no fish in the sea, nothing's left anymore. You eat yourselves, you eat your own people. So, as I said before in the riots, although it's not made implicitly clear, but it clearly must be, those people scooped, anyone who dies is whisked off straight away to the Soylent factories and turned into Soylent Green. That's the way it is. So he sees all this and he's like, he gets spotted. So you get a bit of a chase through the this factory sequence, and it's pretty good as well. Like, you know, hey you! And they got the white suits on, the crash helmets and all that, clipboards. It's like running up and down ladders and fucking scampering across conveyor belts and that. Like, and a guy comes after him on a ladder and he fucking gets him. Boof! Gets his hand off and fucking the guy's like hanging on, like gets his hands off, hits him again. Boof! Another guy comes out of nowhere and he manages to fucking take him down and throw him over the fucking railing. This guy hits something and then bounces onto the conveyor belt full of the Soylent Green, and he's all there like that, crunched up. I will say that throughout this sequence, Heston forgets to limp a fair bit. I've done a video on this, on people limping in movies, and the two best, and they're big stars. Mel Gibson in Mad Max limps brilliantly, totally convincingly. Having had major injuries to my legs in the past, and knowing how you even with but Kilt-Man, if someone's got a gun on you and you've got to run, you'll find the adrenaline and you'll ignore the pain. You can ignore pain with adrenaline. Yes, you can, if the moment depends on it. But if your leg and the muscles and ligaments are shattered, your leg won't work. You've been shot through the shin and the calf. Your leg really won't work too well. So, trust me, I know about these things. And but Heston, it's the other guy, Mel Gibson, limps brilliantly in Mad Max and other movies, brilliantly. Kurt Russell limps brilliantly in Escape from New York, brilliantly. He doesn't forget to limp, he limps. Once he's got an injury to his leg, he limps from that point onwards. No matter what he's doing, he's limping. Don't forget. But Heston, great as he is, he does forget to limp quite a lot. And he leaps off the backs of these trucks and legs it into factories, then legs it up and down ladders and facing across conveyor belts and stuff and running again. He occasionally, oh shit, I've got to limp off now. So he'll put his hand down and he'll be struggling a little bit, but nah, it doesn't really matter. So he takes out a few of these goons, manages to get onto another truck and get out again, and he goes back and he's trying to tell the captain, the chief hatcher. This is the sound from the factory itself, all the machines. This is Fred Myro's score. A bit like Andromeda Strain, Gil Milley, who did the score for that. Very industrial sort of sound. And he gets back, gets one of those police sort of phones on the street. Blah, 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 blah. Look, the captain's going around to see, and he's going around to see Lee Taylor Young for some reason, to sit with her. So he's like, well, patch me into that call now, patch me in. And he gets to speak to Shell, the girl. And he says like, look, your captain's coming around. Look, stay with him. He'll look after you. Stay with him. I'll get to you as soon as I possibly can. But tell him I've got to speak to him. Blah 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 blah. And I'm at 777. Fucking phone goes down. And then he gets attacked. You've got Tab Fielding. Chuck Connors is back for revenge, and he's got a mob with him this time, a patrol of assassins. So a gunfight takes place on the streets, and it's pretty damn good as well. And our boy, he's only got a little snub-nosed cult detective, and he takes out a couple of these guys, and he's got his limp, and he's charging on and he falls over a load of bins, and he's taking them out left, right, and centre. And that church where he went to before, where the priest who he spoke to but wouldn't tell him much at all, and then got shot in the head. He heads to that church, but there's a little tiny graveyard outside, and he gets shot as he runs to the graveyard, through his side, oh god, and his gun falls out of reach. He's already took out most of his pursuers, but Tab Fielding, Chuck Connors, is still after him. And it's like, oh shit, he can't, we can see the gun, but he can't, and he's like, fuck it. And now he's staggering, not just limping, he's staggering, and he gets into the church, and he obviously hides amongst all the people who are lying there, the millions of people who are lying there. And Tab Fielding comes in, and it's like, fucking hell, And again, these assassins, like Gilbert, shot everybody except for Charlton Heston. Suddenly there's a noise, and Chuck Connors turn around and fucking wastes some innocent one, bang, bang, and then starts wasting other people, left, right, and centre. Another fight breaks out between the two of them. Now this time, Chuck Heston is injured. He's shot in the leg, shot in the side. He's knackered as well. So Tab Fielding's fucking battering him. He's throwing him through all these bunk beds and stuff, and he's landing on people who are asleep and snoring. Bang, bang, hitting, crashing over people who are asleep. And the fight goes on, and our boy's getting battered. But he lands beside, well, there's a knife. There's a fucking knife there. Oh, you fucking bastard. So he comes over, he thinks he's killed him. So Tab Fielding comes over to turn him over. And he gets fucking shivved. Whoa, right in the guts. Oh, have that. Staggers back. Dies. fielding is over. But then the captain turns up with other cops and stuff like, and like, we got you. And then of course you get the final sort of epitaph, the narrative. It's like the expletive, to save the world and tell the world, tell everybody, keep watching the skies. No, not that one. The pod people here, no, not that one either. It's Soylent Green is people. It is people. They're going to make cattle out of us. The seas are dead. The plankton is dying. That's it. There's no food. We're eating ourselves. Soylent Green is people. And the scene will go like that. The image, the frame will block in on his hand upstretched. Again, iconography. John Aston is the king of icons when it comes to this. Whether it's playing Moses, whether it's playing Taylor in Planet of the Apes, or of course the cruciform of Robert Neville at the end of the Mega Man. It's exactly the same. It's an iconic visual epitaph, a visual metaphor. He's the one man giving the word to the people, and the film thus ends. And Soylent Green, it met with ambivalence when it came out initially. Some people, it was a popular film, it made money, it was a popular movie, but Sci-Fi in the early 70s was huge at the time. Westworld, Logan's Run, Rollerball, Boy and His Dog, blah blah blah, fucking millions of movies, which is just, and some of the absolute best in the genre, of course, from this era. The most ideas pushing and profound and clever, or just plain exciting. And but critics were like, it's heavy-handed, it's the ecology, oh god, here we go again. You'd have Silent Running as well, a great big Doug Trumbull sci-fi movie. In space, the last forest known to man is floating up, and corporate man's going to blow it up. But Bruce Dern's got other ideas, and his little robots. So ecology and the environment was huge at the time, and it obviously bled into science fiction movies and the genre in general. And this film, as I say, was popular, but critics were like, it's a bit heavy-handed, it's too obvious. Harry Harrison, I want to call him Ray Harryhausen. Harry Harrison was on set for a lot of the time. Richard Fleischer said he loved what we were doing, he really enjoyed it. Harry Harrison had a different take on it altogether. Don't forget, he's the writer. They took his idea and they added something which he hadn't thought of. And you can guarantee that he was thinking, oh, fucking hell. Openly, he's like, well, they took my story and they gave it fist fights and gun battles and chases and, and cannibalism. I don't have any of that stuff. But you can bet he was thinking, why didn't I think of that Soylent Green thing? Oh, it's so clever, it's perfect. I'll bet you any money. That's what he was thinking. But he wouldn't admit to it though. The film, I think, another rare example of a film being better than the book it's based on. This is better by far than the book. The book has its own message, its own agenda to run with. The film makes it more exciting, gives it a police procedural, gives it a lot more action and characters to fight for and fight against. And it has this shock revelation, this denouement, which would have blown everyone's minds at the time. And also, as Fleischer says, and the screenwriter whose name I didn't write down, look, this is the end result of overpopulation. If you can't feed anyone, and right now we have a world crisis. I'm not going to go into all this, but right now, to time this video, for this junction in history, the war on Iran, the Straits of Hormuz, the Gulf out there, energy, everything can't come through to most of the Western world. So everything's going up in price. Petrol, diesel, fucking, food, everything's going up in price. Medicines, everything, it's going to go up and up and up and up. And a rising population. What are we going to do? We're going to have to eat each other. It's as simple as that. So George Romero also comes into play. Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead. We've got no other option. Eat each other. There you go. It's cheap, it's nutritious. It's also very addictive. That's a good point, he says, pointing. Everyone loves Soylent Green. So the new kid on the block, munch. This one's tastier. Better than the red one than the yellow one, isn't it? Oh, you've got some there. I'll have some of that. Give me your fingers. I'll get the crumbs off your fingernails. Human flesh is addictive. Now, this is not, oh, that's horror movie stuff, that. No, human flesh is addictive. We know this. Human blood and flesh combined is addictive to the animals that eat it. Once they've eaten humans, they want to eat it again. Because we just taste sweet. We just, there's something, obviously, maybe it's the alcohol we put in ourselves. Oh, animals love it and they become addicted to it. I don't know. But that is a simple truth. So, I like to think that the riots, they've just run out of Soylent Green. Why would you be so, there's still red and there's still yellow ones and all the crumbs and that, like, there's some shit you can get. It's a rat, get the rat, everyone get the rat, But they're so addicted to Soylent Green because it's human. It's human. So they're addicted to it. You see? See how it all plays in? This is a powerful film which it plays under the radar for so much of it because it's so downbeat and it's kind of, even though there's action, there's chases, there's gunfights and there's fist fights, they're kind of sporadic and the music is very sort of like, it's all la-di-da-da-da, like lounge. And it's that sort of, it's the future, and although the future, we're now in 2026, this film's set 4 years before. But we are there, according to Richard Fleischer. So the film, it fits into that sort of, it's not as high concept as, say, I, Robot with Will Smith. It's not like a big action aplenty all the time, and so super streamlined and big name actors. You've had Edward G. Robinson. Charlton Heston. You couldn't get much bigger at that time, to be honest with you. So, you know what I mean? But a film, if they did this nowadays, it'd be so much more glitzy and glamorous and far more exciting and exhilarating. But because of that, it'd be a lesser movie. It wouldn't, the message wouldn't matter as much at all. The 70s was the era of metaphor and allegory and heavy hitting, overt, sensationalized, sermonizing, and this film really epitomizes all of that, but it does so in an easygoing and yet action-packed sci-fi romp, and I love it to bits. I did say before about all the people that Heston is in this movie with. Okay, right, he's with Chuck Norris, fucking hell, he's with Chuck Connors in this. He started with Chuck Connors in The Big Country. He's with Brock Peters, who plays his captain, his chief of police. He was with Brock Peters in Major Dundee with the cap and and in a couple of years afterwards in 2 Minute Warning about that sniper at the football stadium with Jack Klugman. Jack Klugman's in it, and Jack Klugman's mate Robert Iso's in this movie. The connections will not stop. He's with Lincoln Kilpatrick, who plays the priest in The Omega Man just before, and he starred with Edward G. Robinson in The Ten Commandments. So there's a sort of a filmic family is in this movie as well. If you like that sort of thing, it just adds another texture, another flavour to the film, I find. What other notes did I have? I had some other notes. But I do think, I mentioned everyone is sweaty and dirty. The aesthetic is mostly drab, brown and grey, dusty, dry and desiccated, run down society, poverty stricken, overcrowded and downtrodden, and subject to global warming. Ring a bell, anyone? No, I pretty much covered everything. Oh, Richard Fleischer, of course, did Fantastic Voyage. He did The Vikings with Tony Curtis and Kirk Douglas. He did, what else did he do? 10 Rillington Place, the epic war movie, Tora Tora Tora. Oh my, or Tora Tora Tora, as I would say it. Conan the Destroyer, the most authentic Conan film we've had. Don't deny it, don't deny it. Yes, we all love Conan the Barbarian most of all, but Conan the Destroyer is the most authentic. to what was written initially. So that's the proper character of Conan, and all the entourage you'd have with him, and the kind of quest he'd go on. You'd also do Red Sonja with Bridget Nielsen. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So Richard Fleischer was a director who straddled a lot of our favourite genres. Horror, Boston Strangler with Tony Curtis as well. Horror, thriller, drama, wartime, fantasy, action, and hard sci-fi, high concept sci-fi, and this, you know, what a guy. And he directs brilliantly in this movie. The whole film is very smooth, and yet you have this, the action hits, and it's hard hitting, it's brutal, and then of course you get the death of Sol, which is the heart and soul of the movie. I don't care who you are, I don't care, you know, what your religion may be. This guy gives up his life after knowing what the truth is, and I'll never get any of the life I wanted back again. So this is the easy option. In a way, isn't that great? For many of us, if you're like, I've given up, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? You can't. Technically, it's illegal to kill yourself. Fucking law-making twats. You know, you want to end your life. End your life. You should be able to do whatever you want. You know, but with your body, do whatever you want with your body. But people who've got terminal illnesses, they're in agony all their life, and they can't end their life. In this movie, he can just go and do it. But why can he do it? Because they're going to use his body to feed everybody else. I'd love to know all the medical things behind this. You know, what if people have got horrible diseases? Is that going to be compacted in to, well, it's going to be, isn't it? Well, whatever made you, your flesh and blood, it's going to be in these little wafers. So it's a very quick process. The bodies go in, the green squares come out, and that's it. And they get packaged up, and off you go, off to market. You know. So there's a lot more to it, but obviously those big books, those great big books that which Robert Thorne brings back to book, and Sol reads these things. He's like, I read the words, but I don't believe what it's telling me. So it gives them to everybody else. Can you make sense of this? Am I reading what's really in there? Is that what's happening? And of course it gives all the facts and figures and whatever technical process they're going through to convert human meat into food. So you've been shot, you know, there's going to be bits of fucking bullets in you, bits of lead and all that, because there's no autopsies, the bodies are taken straight away. So there's a lot of finite stuff which, you know, the film doesn't make clear, but clearly they have thought about it in the overarching thing of the Soylent Corporation. They do everything for you. So, and then they're asked, because they're eating real food anyway. Excuse me. Sugar and a bit of Soylent Green there. There's an awful piece on you. They are eating proper real food. They're not eating fucking Soylent at all. So it's just just keep the population fucking happy. Give them this shit like for a while, like, and then we'll go on to turquoise, Soylent turquoise, Soylent maroon. Oh dear. That's my throat saying, look, you've spoke too much. Shut up now. Right, folks. Anyway, I love this movie. It is great. The aesthetic is drab and grey, but it works for the smog, globally warmed environment. Everyone's sweaty and grimy. There's no running water anywhere. Communal spigots they have. That's all they've got. Like, imagine that, but you gob around one of those things. Oh dear God! I mean, people be washing their asses with it and all that. Like, give me Logan's Run any day. That'd be a much better environment to be in. Oh, okay. Carousel beckons. Oh, I'll float around for a bit. Or better yet, give me Rollerball. Oh, fuck that. Oh, you'd have some fun, wouldn't you? You know, ragging around on your bike on that track. Well, I can't ride bikes, but so I'll be on skates. Oh, I can't skate either, can I? Oh shit. Well, I've learned pretty quickly. But I can fucking smack people down, like. And they're wearing the same helmets as the Riot Squad. Only they're the colours of the teams, obviously. Anyway, folks. Hope you enjoyed a little trip down to 1970s futuristic dystopian sci-fi. Soylent Green is well worth it. It's on Blu-ray, it's on DVD, it's probably on some kind of tubing. Probably on YouTube somewhere. It's probably, you can stream it, I'm sure you can. It's well worth it. If you like Planet of the Apes, if you like your Mega Man, you like Heston in this sci-fi saviour role, you're going to love this. Because he's so not the saviour. He's part of the system, but he does like his book. He likes Sol. He reveres Sol. And when you see Charlton Heston break down, oh, dear God. You can tell what's happening in a scene like this, can't you? You know, they're all there. All these lovely ladies having a little party of their own. And then that fucking bastard Charles comes in, starts slapping at you, and the punch to the one in the gut. What a bastard, a grade A bastard. The one thing I would change about this movie would be that Heston comes in and fucking smacks him. But it's that sort of rivalry, you know. Heston's kind of like, I'm a detective, I've got certain powers, I can do whatever I want, really. You can't argue me. But this guy, he kind of knows you've got power because you're connected to something bigger, which I'm investigating. So he's kind of like, I'll threaten you, and you can't fight me because you can smack a woman around, but you can't smack Moses, can you? No. Anyway, folks, I have been always Shadow Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, as ever, eat your greens in between time. That was such an obvious line. I only just thought of it as well. Please keep it. Celtic, keep it. Celtic, I'm going to see you all. Plenty more to come on the Kilt-Man channel, so be prepared.